Good evening, Wizards Nation. I so I want to get on live just to do a quick little chat regarding this is all stuff like there's no news right now with the Wizards. It's right now it's a dead period. And I'm not trying to fabricate any news story or anything like that. So this was floated around with this TJ McCollum. I guess him choosing the number 3 number for us with the Wizards. My chat's not working. I swear. Oh, there it is. And so CJ McCollum's wearing number 3 here. Obviously, that was preoccupied by Bradley Beal. A guy who left on sour terms. The fan base is kind of divided, in my opinion. You guys have a good gist of how I feel about him. I like him, even though I do believe his contract was one of the worst contracts in NBA history. Him even having the gall to ask for a no trade clause is insane. Insane. His title has to be the dumbest question I ever heard if you think these numbers need to be retired and you know nothing about basketball. This is just a conversation that was brought up. It's just a question. You know nothing about basketball. All right, Judah. Judah Morn. I'm not clamoring that somebody has to be freaking retired. No, it's just a question. It's just a question. This was tweeted by Greg Finberg, and I'm just gonna follow through, man. This was tweeted by Greg Finberg, and also it all started with this McCollum choosing number 3, obviously with the Wizards. Okay, I'm just gonna go straight to the point. In my opinion, Beal, no. Even though Beal ranks as number 2 overall, 3rd overall, steals 2nd overall, this is in franchise history. Games 3rd, 3-pointers 1st. Beal, no, like he. To me, like neither. I mean, the thing that how can I say this? John Wall, in my opinion, he came at a crucial point in our franchise history, where our previous owner Abe Pollin passed away. The Gilbert Arenas era was ending, and he to me, like when he first landed here, I was like, dude, we got a freaking Avenger, we got a Marvel superhero. This is. The team, the franchise was starving when we got him. Number 1 overall pick. And also, like, regarding John Wall in general, like, if any of these, between these two, were to be retired, I'm definitely leaning towards John Wall. I think Beal having his number retired, even if he does come back, because I feel like I wouldn't be surprised if he does come back like 4 or 5 years from now, like when he's 35 years old, because he's second in points. And I'm pretty sure, I remember reading reports that he was gunning for the franchise points record. And I believe he's only down by 200 points. I wouldn't be surprised if like 5 years from now, he comes here when he's 35 years old. But like, in my opinion, Beal doesn't merit his number being retired. I can say that with a straight face. And with this whole McCollum thing, there's a little bit of buzz. There's just a little bit of buzz feeling like, oh, McCollum, he's choosing number 3. The first dude to wear number 3 since Beal left in 2023. Yeah. And I'm just like, yeah, I think McCollum doing this is going to open the door now for other people to wear number 3 here. But in my case, in my scenario, even though Beal has these records, like I said, 2nd overall in franchise history, 3rd in assists, 2nd in steals, 3rd in games, 1st in 3-pointers made. Granted, he played I think over 120 games more than John Wall. John Wall was mostly injured. But even with that, the furthest he's ever went was a Game 7 in the 2nd round. With both of these dudes. The thing that stands out differently with John Wall is that his just overall impact in the community was just, it was felt. Like John Wall is the DMV. John Wall is DC. his entire time here, we all know about his charity funds. I actually brought it up right here. Hold on. I'm going to read it to you guys out loud. We all know the John Wall Family Foundation, the 202 Assist Program, the donation to Bright Beginnings, the backpack giveaways, the Thanksgiving giveaways, philanthropic activities. Let's see here. Backpack. These are just a little bit. I think he pledged over $1 million. Yeah, right here, $1 million to help people within the community, especially in obviously the DC area. But yeah, this is just a conversation, Jones. I'm honestly, it's just more of just like, I don't know, who's gonna be the next dude to wear number 2? That's another question I have. It's just like, I'm more in the like again. This question was floated around Twitter recently, and let me read actually his replies, because people were turning, people were, oh no, they were saying. Anyway, whatever. Let's see here. What was I saying? Shit, I'm losing track now. But yeah, between John Wall and Bradley Beal, I'm definitely leaning towards John Wall. But with this whole question regarding Bradley Beal, I personally, to respond to Greg Fenberg's question, it looks like most of the people that responded to his question on Twitter were more in the lane of saying no. And I'm in that lane as well. Respectfully, no, though. No. With Bradley Beal. You know, it's not like a vehement no, but no. No. He is Bradley Beal. That's nothing to like take away from Bradley Beal's contributions, because Bradley Beal himself, Peterson can get the number 2 next year if he requests it. LOL. Look, what's up, man, Andrew? I don't know. Like, also, like, we're talking about Bradley Beal a bit, but you know, the top 5 scoring leaders in franchise history is Elvin Hayes, number 1. Yeah, Bradley Beal is just 200 points behind, or 150 actually, 160. Yeah, I wouldn't be surprised. Bradley Beal, towards his last couple of years here, he was gunning for the franchise record in points. I wouldn't be surprised if he comes here just for one more year when he's in his late career, and he tries to get this, honestly. But anyways, Jeff Malone's at 11,000. John Wall's 10,000, almost 11,000. But, you know, number 5 is Wes Unseld. But to me, like, the criteria is just like, what have you accomplished? Did you bring memorable... Like, how far along? To me, I'm more of like, I'm a rings guy. I'm a playoff guy. And the furthest they've both gone along together was Game 7 of the second round. Now, there is a tragedy within this, though, because Beal never hit his, like, I guess, prime stride until Wall got injured. Like, they never were at their very best. I guess the last year, 2016, 2017, yeah, Beal was starting to break out. I believe he averaged 23 points that year as well. When he was like averaging 16 points for a number of years. But like, they never got to play again, like, with each other at their best. That's, like, to me, one of the biggest crimes here. Who's to say? Also, we had a shitty ass GM who didn't know how to build a team around these two dudes. Let's be honest. Jan Mahimi. Are you kidding me? Jason Smith. No offense to Jason Smith. Like, I know he's in the Wizards broadcast right now. But, like, you know, that Kevin Durant offseason really set back this team and these two players, and also injuries as well. But, yeah. Okay, I feel like everybody's saying that I want these two to be retired. Hell no. I mean, I'm not saying hell no, but I mean, like, I'm not saying they got to be retired. It's just a conversation. Like I said earlier on in the streams, for both of them, if I were to choose, it would be Wall. For Bradley Beal, no. He's not in the conversation. Respect to him, but, you know, when he was the man, when he was the alpha, he did not. When Bradley Beal was the alpha, I'm sorry. I'm not saying he was exposed, but, like, we didn't go anywhere. Also, that can be attributed as well to poor team building around him, but it's still, like, it was just evident. We didn't go anywhere. Yeah, shout out to Santana Moss. Yeah, he did. Shout out to Santana Moss. But John Wall is kind of like is he? Is John Wall kind of like the Santana Moss of the Wizards? Because again, John Wall played 6 years with us. They were like some relatively healthy years. And then after the 2016-2017 season, it was just downhill injury-wise. Unfortunately, a big crime. The NBA gods did not bless us with that. You know, it does suck. I always think about this. Like, what if we had... Because Paul Pierce signed with us thinking that John Wall and Bradley Beal were going to be the best backcourt in the NBA. I remember he said that. Like, they had the potential. It just sucks. But going back to the original conversation, in my opinion, like, what makes John Wall stand out more is that he is the DMV. Like, how much, like, look, again, reading all these charity events, how he was very invested in the DMV. Y'all remember that time when he was interviewed, he was literally in tears with this patient in the hospital. This was like 2014. You know, this was like he cared so much about the DMV. We loved him. Like, I said it earlier on the stream. He was just, when we landed him, I was just like, damn, we just got a Marvel superhero. We got a Marvel superhero with John Wall. And he gave us moments, those behind the back passes, dunks, and stuff like that. Him in the dunk contest. You know, it just sucks that it was cut short due to injuries. I'm not going to sit here and lie as well. I love John Wall, but there were times that, you know, defensively, especially after Whitman left, I was pissed off, honestly. But John Wall's, and again, also Bradley Beal himself was also very charitable to the DC area. But it's just, John Wall just has this like special connection here that Bradley Beal will just never have, in my opinion. We connected with John Wall. And we were so, how can you say, like, because John Wall was the #1 overall pick. Obviously, Bradley Beal was #3, but I don't know. Like, it's hard for me to put it in words, honestly. What, like, it's like I found a rare card that nobody has, and I was just like, look, I have this and you don't. I can say that to other NBA fans. We have John Wall, you don't. I know you're jealous, you know. But yeah, man. Obviously, had John Wall stayed here a little bit longer, yeah, his case to have his numbers retired would have been much stronger. But for these two dudes, respectfully, no. But again, I'm gonna say more leaning towards John Wall. Okay, John Wall's stats here. I'm gonna put it right here. 4th in points overall. We read that earlier. 17th in rebounds in Wizards history. 1st in assists in franchise history with the Wizards. 11th in blocks as a point guard. 3-pointers made 5th. You know, these are all the playoff stats. He's 2nd in assists. Obviously, yeah, of course, you know, with the assisting. But look at this part right here. Bradley Beal played 695 games with us, the Wizards. John Wall played 573. Which is why, going back to this, obviously Beal's stats and his franchise where he lands overall, you know, it's a little bit more inflated than John Wall's. Granted, Beal, if anybody, they should retire Antoine Jamison. Nah, I respectfully disagree. If we're talking Antoine Jamison, then John Wall better have his number retired. You know, Antoine didn't start off his career here. Yeah, man. But, you know, I just wanted to start this off as a conversation starter. In Guns A-Blazings, I get called a buffoon about this dude, Judah. You know nothing about basketball. All right, dude. I felt like I was being shot. Like, you know, in the scene of Scarface, I was like, was being shot by everybody. No, it's a conversation starter. Like, honestly, I just needed something to talk about. That's honestly what it was. But you know, it is what it is. Y'all can shoot a hell. Um, but yeah, I don't think anybody. Yeah, bro. Nah. Bradley Beal, man. This whole Bradley Beal thing. Yeah, smart businessman. It just sucks though because like that contract. Obviously, I feel like 50 years down from now, that contract is gonna overshadow everything he did here with the Wizards, especially in his first couple of playoff appearances, which is how he got that max contract. If y'all don't remember, because he balled out in the playoffs. We would have not beaten the Chicago Bulls in 2014 if it wasn't for Bradley Beal. We would have not advanced to beat over the Hawks if it wasn't for Bradley Beal. That is why he got that contract, that max contract. That was so, people were so like divided on. It was like, oh, he didn't earn it. I remember who said it on ESPN that they was shitting on Bradley Beal for not saying he earned it. Yeah, but then push comes to shove, like Bradley Beal, when you were the man and he wanted to be the man, unfortunately, you just didn't. You got handed the keys. And you only went up the block. You didn't speed down the highway like we wanted to. But the biggest crime to me is just like these two never got to play together when they were, at their prime. Bradley Beal was starting to hit his stride as soon as John Wall got injured, man. It's also like, I keep thinking about, it's like, okay, well, let's say they got to play at least 1 or 2 years. With the GM we had, I don't know. State of the Wizards, what's up, man? Brad doesn't care about winning, only about getting paid. Yeah. Again, the biggest thing with Brad was him asking for that stupid no trade clause. That really just like, what did I name this type? Did I say these two have to be retired? I said should. That was an open-ended question. I'm trying to figure out, did I name it retire these two freaking numbers? Let me see. My bad. I don't even know what I named this. I said should the Wizards retire? Should. I didn't say they have to retire. It was just a question starter. It's a question starter. Let me put this down. But yeah, this was started with McCollum choosing number 3. It caused a bit of a rift back and forth in Twitter. Greg Fingberg brought it up again. He had a lot of let me read it actually. Can I read this? It'll fucking work. Greg Fingberg brought it up and said a question for Wizards fans. And most of the people who responded were just like, fuck no, da. Which I understand. Honestly. But I'm not going to say, it's just a question. But I would say no. No to both. But if I were to choose, definitely John Wall. In a heartbeat, John Wall over Bradley Beal. If I had to choose between one of them two. Wes Unseld, Gus Johnson, Phil Chenier. The OG, Phil Chenier. Phil Chenier, I met him one time. Was one of the nicest dudes I've ever met in my life. State of the Wizards says, I feel Wall's jersey should be retired. He helped Ted get a return in his investment. Ted has to get out of his feelings before Wall's jersey's retired. Oh yeah, that's another thing. Yeah, that's a great point. Ted and John Wall, they're not seeing eye to eye. They're not. I don't think they're ever gonna be. Honestly, I think Ted has too much of a big. Brett, when I first started this channel, which was like a year and a half ago. Actually, no, I didn't. Yeah, I was actually. I was on Ted's ass. I was livid. Right before we hired Will Dawkins, I was on Ted's ass. I couldn't. I'm sorry, but lying to us, saying, oh, we're going to be a playoff team with Bradley Beal. Oh, Porzingis and this and that, even though I like Porzingis. But just be honest with us. Honesty is key. And you're lying to us saying, oh, we're just trying to make a playoffs and deep playoff run, whatever the fuck. And what do? Nothing. He did do a 360, and now acknowledging, hey, we need to rebuild. Rebuild through the draft, supplement via free agency, which he's now doing, obviously, with Will Dawkins. Kudos to that. But there was a point with freaking Ted, I couldn't. I was blaming him. Allowing Tommy Shepard to do his atrocities. I don't know, State of the Wizards, I said it earlier. It's just also like John Wall's charity events. There's we all have a special connection with John Wall, man. The John Wall Family Foundation, the 202 Assist Program, the Nation of Bright Beginnings, the backpack giveaways, sponsorship to Maya Troop. Sorry, yeah, this is the one that he was very emotional about after the game in 2014-15. Yeah, he broke down live post game interview. I believe this is it. Yeah, and obviously with several tragic events that happened to John Wall outside of the basketball, and also with the injuries, obviously, I do really pray because, there was even John Wall went on multiple podcasts recently saying that his mental was not there at all. I don't even want to say he was just, it was a bit of a tearjerker. John Wall was saying stuff like he was just going through, super depressed, obviously when his mom passed away. We all know how much his mom meant to him. But there's just this kindred spirit that we have with John Wall. Everything that he's done for us outside of the hard work. And now, of course, granted, there's not that many. There are the playoff memories. Obviously, the 3-point shot against the Celtics in Game 6 that he gave us. But I don't know. The only reason why Ted embraced the rebuild is due to Snyder no longer owning the Commanders. Ted knew he couldn't hide behind Snyder anymore. Yeah, I can see that. I can definitely see that. I also think that Ted was also reading the vibes in the room. It was becoming toxic. Wizards fans were so disinterested during those 4 years, myself included. I was out. I was like, why am I going to support this team who's just lying outright to me? Jones just hit on the spot. Yes. Maybe, yes. I like that. Give Wall a special ceremony. Perhaps, to each their own. I'm more of just let him retire. I'm more of just if I had to choose between one of the two, definitely John Wall. I think he does merit at least the conversation. Honestly, that's my take. But what he definitely deserves is some sort of special ceremony, at least from the Wizards. Like we saw with the big three, Gilbert Arenas, Antoine Jameson, Caron Butler, how they had that last year. Do something like that. He deserves it. These billionaires need to freaking swallow their egos. If it wasn't for John Wall, I'm sorry, Ted Leonsis would have nothing. Ted Leonsis. Yeah, wait. Hold up. Now you're I'm about to Ted Leonsis inherited this team after Abe Pollin passed away tragically. The main reason that Ted Leonsis got this team was because of John Wall. Well, John Wall was drafted that offseason. John Wall made Ted Leonsis not just money, obviously, but John Wall, held like single-handedly at one point, even before Beal joined us, was like making the Wizards at least watchable. Because if it wasn't for him, who else would be watching the team during those first 2-3 years when we were sucking ass? John Wall, I mean, Ted Leonsis owes so much to John Wall. And the fact that they ended up so toxic at the very end, I was just like, I can't. I was just during the build around Beal there as well. It was tough to cover the team because I knew it was not going to lead us to it. Yeah, honestly, I'm being straightforward with you guys. Last year, I watched 80 out of the 82 games. The 2 games was I had two family emergencies. And this year I'm playing. I don't give. There's a family emergency. YouTube TV play on my phone. I'm watching 82, obviously. But last year, I watched 80 games. The 4 years of the Bradley Beal Dark Ages, I watched approximately 80 games in total. I would check via Twitter. Oh, how are they doing? Oh, yeah, I watched the game. I highlights. But watching from the first quarter to the fourth quarter, I couldn't. I'm sorry, but I couldn't. It was a disgrace. You're outright lying to me. I'm not going to support you financially. I remember I went to a Wizards game only because I had free tickets. I refused to buy Wizards gear when I was there during the Bradley Beal era. Refused. I am not going to give my money to this when they're lying to me with this shitty ass product. But now, I'm buying Wizards gear left and right. I'm being that serious. I bought a couple Wizards hats, Wizards t-shirts. Fuck, I'm gonna buy more jerseys. Now obviously, they're not lying to us. Now I feel like much more connected to the team than I was in the past. It's all about honesty. Honesty, like, how can you not know that by now with Ted Leonsis, man, it's like freaking 60s. Honesty is key. And if you got to rebuild through the draft and you got to be asked for a couple of years, then so be it. And that's all what we wanted. We could have even skipped this if we traded Bradley Beal in 2019, to be honest with you. We could have gotten a ransoms, of assets when he was only 26 years old before he got that contract. That was a sweet time to trade Bradley Beal, but we didn't. But anyways, I'm going off topic. How long was this stream so far? 27 minutes. I'm gonna do a couple more minutes. What's up, Uptown Dre? But yeah, man. I'm gonna say it one last time. Bradley Beal. I like the player. I have a special connection with Bradley Beal because he is exactly my age. He is exactly 1 month younger than I am. Like I remember everything about Bradley Beal's career. But I do understand all the criticisms. I do understand, him getting the no trade clause or him even asking for that I can't even defend that, And I also will always admit he was never a number 1 alpha, unfortunately. That was evident during those years, in the Tommy Shepard era. Jermil. Wall got the most all-star selections for the Wiz since Elvin Hayes in the 70s. At least don't give his jersey to A players unless they're upside like Powell. Hey. Kudos. Yeah. This right here, Jermil. What's up, man? Can I donate money to you? I know you donated last month. Thank you for that. I want to donate money to you now for this. This one, Jermil, I'm bad if I'm saying your name wrong. And also somebody who said that Wall at least deserves Jones said that thing. Yeah, give John Wall a special ceremony naming him man of the decade. Yeah. Top 2 comments in my opinion. I don't want no second round pick to be wearing number 2 jersey. I'm sorry. I'm going to be in my feelings. Even if it is, I'm sorry. I just can't. Pneumatic Brian says, I just moved to Colorado Springs around 2017. Oh, wow. Colorado Springs. Wall, Beal, Otto Porter watching playoff games and the playoff enchiladas in front of me. That's awesome. Hey, man. I'm going to say it one last time. Bradley Beal, no. No. He's not even in a conversation. Respectfully, though. It does suck that the contract situation just is going to, I think it's going to engulf his entire, I feel like in the history books, people like Wizards fans probably going to look at that more than what his actual play was, which sucks. But Bradley Beal's not in the conversation. John Wall is. John Wall is in the conversation. And to the first dude, Judah Morn, if the title has to be the dumbest question I've ever heard, if you think this numbers need to be retired, you know nothing about basketball. All right, Judah. One day. But John Wall has to be in the conversation. Now, whether it's going to be given to him, that's another thing. But I think he has to be. But but John Wall is in the conversation, but it's not a given to him, in my opinion. It's not set in stone. There we go. It's not guaranteed. I can definitely see him never getting his number retired, especially with how things ended with him and Ted Leonsis. But, it does suck, man. It does freaking suck how not only how it ended with his injuries, because we never got to see him. Remember, do y'all remember? Hold on. I'm gonna say this too. Do you guys remember how at one point John Wall was lauded as the second best player in the Eastern Conference behind LeBron James? Do y'all remember that? He was being lauded as the second best player in the Eastern Conference behind behind LeBron James. This was going into the year that he broke out, 2016, 2017. I believe he averaged 23 and 10. People wanted to play with him. He was the guy. This was before the big contract he got. Could you imagine if we beat the Celtics in Game 7? If we beat the Celtics in Game 7 and we were in the Eastern Conference Final, I'm sorry, but John Wall's case to have his number retired while having a conference championship appearance under his belt, now would we have beaten the Cavaliers? I don't know. I don't think so. I don't know. I'm not going to say anything, But John Wall having a conference appearance in his resume would boost it big time. Because I'm also like, come on, we got to be honest. We only went to the second round with these two guys. At least take us to the conference, But had he done that, had we won that game, things would be a little bit different in my opinion. Honestly, for John Wall, in this case. Remember, he was one of the players to get a Kobe challenges too. Wall was special. Yeah. John Wall was there. Yeah. He was special, dude. John Wall, man, I'm going to say it again. He was an Avenger. We had an Avenger here. When is the next time we're going to get an Avenger? A guy who's can't miss. You're going to miss out if you watch him game. John Wall's one of those dudes it's like what, freaking late January, and you're just like, if you miss a game of John Wall, you're just like, damn, I feel like I missed out on something special. That's the type of vibes that he was bringing here to the DMV. Yeah, I don't think I don't think I remember saying all the time, John Wall all day, baby. Yeah, John Wall, man. It just sucks, but let's see his stats. He had 6 years with us, I believe. And even then, there was 2 years where he just didn't. He was a bit injury riddled. Mind you, this is under a different NBA era. I'm not trying to defend him. But let's see over here. Fuck. Put it right here. Fuck this. Put it right here for now. I can't even do this. Yeah, it was what? Well, 7 years. Well, 2010, 2016, 2017, yeah. Then after that, it was just downhill, unfortunately. 2012, 2013, didn't play that much. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. From 2013 to 2016, 17, those 4 years where he averaged playing at least 78 games or more. At least 78 games or more. These years were special, ladies and gentlemen. These 4 seasons, when he was mostly healthy, special. I feel like Wizards fans who are in their 30s like me remember these years like it was yesterday. Especially 2016, 2017. When we were being lauded as one of the top teams in the East. When we were at one point the top team in the East. If I'm not mistaken, we were. 23-10. This was the first year under Scott Brooks, I believe. Yeah, Wall is dope. Wall, yeah, man. He gave us memories. Like I said, the Game 6 3-pointer against the Celtics. But these 4 years. See, also, if this dude right here, I know I sound butthurt, but you know what? I don't care. Judah. If he's a freaking Lakers fan, because also we got to think about it this way. Let's just be honest. The Wizards franchise, I guess, our history is not as comparable to Lakers history or Lakers legends. It's just not even in the conversation. So we have to count that factor in too. This dude is probably thinking from a Lakers perspective or a Celtics perspective. No, but we're the Wizards. And I'm not trying to demean us or anything like that. Because we saw with the Warriors, things can and will change with the right leadership. Now, I'm not trying to say Will Dawkins is going to lead us to a Warriors dynasty. No, I'm not. But I'm just saying the Warriors had nothing. They had a franchise history like us. And then within the last decade, things changed. And now they're revered. They have I believe that the fourth most net worth for a franchise out of all franchise sports teams, professional sports, NFL, NBA. Steph Curry made that franchise what it is today. Obviously, with the help of others, Klay Thompson, Draymond Green. Things can change. So I'm not trying to demean us. But, as of right now, this is what we got to work with. Our franchise history. I'm not trying to dog us, but I'm just calling it how it is. So this freaking dude, I wouldn't be surprised if you're a Lakers fan. I'm holding back. I don't like that. I'm being an ass. Oh. Let's see here. But yeah, damn, look at this. 41 games after that, 32 games after that, traded. 40. This is just sad right here for John Wall. This is just really sad. And he was 2016, he was 26. Yep, 26, 27, entering his prime. The year of 2016, 2017, he was entering his prime. That's actually the same age that Steph Curry broke out in Golden State. I'm not comparing him to Steph. I'm just saying that's typically around the age that players enter their prime. He was born in 1990, 2016. He was 26, 26, turning 27. He was entering his prime. And we freaking lost it. We lost his prime. Sad, man. Sad. Nick Collison's jersey is retired. No disrespect. He's not an all-star, but he meant a lot to the org. Yeah, it's another thing. That's another thing as well. That's a good argument. But yeah, man, I'm gonna end this stream. Thank you for everybody who joined. But to end it with this, Bradley Beal, respectfully, to some of y'all, disrespectfully, in my opinion, he's not in the conversation even if he does come back at the age of 35 and gets the all-time franchise record, he's only, 150 points away from beating Elvin Hayes. Even if he does that, I don't think Bradley Beal should have his number retired, predominantly because how things ended when he was the alpha, and also the contract situation. But mostly the how he just couldn't get things going when he was the alpha here. John Wall does deserve, in my opinion, to be in a conversation. Now, is it stamped or guaranteed? That's up for interpretation. But I feel like John Wall definitely deserves to be in a conversation. Oh, yes. But unfortunately, with his current standing with Ted Leonsis, mostly from Ted Leonsis to John Wall, things will have to change for him to have his number retired. But yeah, that's my overall take on this. I'm not, again, I wasn't saying they have to have the numbers retired, but it's just a conversation starter. I want to get a vibe from y'all. The Warriors used to be trash. Then they drafted a core to change their basketball as we know it. Yeah, that's exactly what. Yeah, I completely agree with you, dude. That's what I said. Things can change. Things can change. We can change. Thank you, Jones. I really appreciate it. Thank you, everybody. Yeah, I might do that, Jones. Thank you for that. Thank you for that good idea. Thank you, Judah Priest. Thank you for your input, you little dick. That's one thing about streams. I hold back, and I'm just I'm a dumb dick, so no. But yeah, thank you very much, everybody. I might stream tomorrow. I don't know. I think I might drop a video tomorrow. I was gonna drop a video on this Luka Doncic thing. Luka Doncic, I don't know, y'all saw, man's on Ozempic, lost 35 pounds? He lost 35 pounds. No, he's not on Ozempic, but he lost a lot of weight. A lot of people are talking about Luka. But yeah, man. Yeah, this is right now, honestly, between now and training camp, which is like 2 months away, it's a dry period. So there'll be a lot of, honestly, conversations like this within the stream. I'm not going to... the last thing I'll do is to fabricate a story. That's the last thing I'll do. But, conversations like this is... Yeah, I'm not fabricating anything. I'm just trying to get a pulse of what everybody's saying. But, yeah, man. Let me take a screenshot of what Jones said. Let's see. The NBA is done with this archetype. I'll think about it. Thank you though for that. But yeah, if you enjoyed the stream, please like and subscribe. The Hawk TV. I'm still shaky about the current coach, but I think the young guys can be special. Yeah, I don't know if Keith's gonna be the long-term dude here. I don't know. I don't know. I feel like we might get our future long-term head coach next offseason. But we'll see. A lot to unravel this upcoming season. But yeah, man. Thank you very much, everybody.